Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where we are currently here in Kugane, because this is where we begin the Unity quests for all the tribes of Stormblood. So once we have finished all the tribes of Stormblood to Bloodsworn, you can start this quest here. The Ananta Maid's Tale. Hancock's apprentice is peering about in earnest. Ah, Mistress Klingor, Hancock sent me to look for you. I'm glad to have found you so close by. He said he needs to meet with you, but wasn't clear on the details. I suppose he'd rather explain it to you in person. Would you mind taking a moment to speak with him? He's over at the harbor. Thank you. Just make your way to Pier 2, if you please. I'll let Hancock know he can find you there. Okay. Let's wait here. Desiree, my friend, good to see you again. Hello. Thank you for coming to meet me, though I confess I knew you would. You are such an agreeable sort, always ready to help your friends and close acquaintances. What is this about? There's no need for such facial exertion. My request is a straightforward one. As it happens, I've been asked to escort a few members of the Ala Mhigo resistance on a tour of Kugane. It seems they are interested in seeing the fortifications that have allowed Hingashi to survive as an isolationist nation for so long. I've never met them, and it occurred to me that the presence of someone such as yourself, who has an established rapport with the resistance, might smoothen our introduction. What say you? Right you are, my bosom companion. Good to hear, particularly as they'll be here any moment. By my estimation, they should be disembarking just about now. Ah, and right I am. Esteemed members of the Resistance, welcome to Kugane. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Hancock of the East Aldena Trading Company, and I will be your guide to this fair city. I appreciate you coming to meet us. I'm Alpe, captain of the Velodina Gatekeepers. And I'm Yolmir, Alpe's second in command. Pleasure to meet you. Yo, you two. Is that you, Desiree? Fancy meeting you here, of all places. What a pleasant surprise. Are you here to show us around? Now, that is an excellent proposal, Miss Alpa. I'm certain the two of you would feel more at ease seeing the city with someone you know. Don't you agree, Desiree? Alright. In that case, I shall leave the role of guide to you. Meanwhile, I can secure accommodations for our guests. I get the feeling that you didn't have much choice there. Sorry about all this. It's okay. For you. If it's alright, I'd like to visit the castle first. I'm eager to see its fortifications. Float. This is so awkward that the Ananta are not slithering but floating. Impressive, visually speaking anyhow. It's beautiful. It does look nice, but I can't imagine it's much use as a fortress. Too decorative. What unusual attire. I can see you're not native to Kugane. May I ask where you hail from? Wawakami, is that tale is real? Are you a mermaid? Don't be absurd. I'm no mermaid. I'm an Ananta. There are many like Alpa and Ala Mhigo, our homeland. There's no need to be alarmed. Ah, so you're of a Western race then. Pardon me. I jumped to conclusions. It can be somewhat dull guarding the gate here. Particularly as only an utter fool would try to break in, so I sometimes let my imagination get the best of me. It's alright, no offense taken, but if you have a moment, would you mind telling us more about this castle? I'm curious as to how a single guard at the gate is sufficient to keep it secure. Of course, I'm no expert, but I will gladly teach you what I know. Consider it an apology for my rudeness. The central keep that towers above us is of a complex and strategic make, incorporating myriad defensive elements. As you can see, the most prominent part of a facade features regular openings from which to unleash a veritable hail of arrows or musket rounds. We call these summer, and they make it nigh on impossible for an enemy to approach from the front. Similarly, those unlucky souls who attempt to scale the walls are like to be met by tumbling boulders or boiling oil released by those manning the many brattices. Should one somehow manage to infiltrate the castle proper, you will find it a trial to get out again, for the pathways inside are like a maze by design. To think something could be so elegant in both form and function. I'm impressed. All that said, the castle has been taken before. Not too long ago, an unscrupulous sort named Kageyama and his underlings managed to sneak in during one of Abugio's galas, taking advantage of a stream of people entering the castle. Which mainly goes to show that all of the clever defenses in the world mean nothing if you fail to check who's coming through the front door. A most instructive tale, thank you. I had a feeling I would find you here. Your accommodations are ready. Since your journey was a long one, I recommend that you stop for a soak in Kugane's famed hot springs before you continue your sightseeing. I can personally vouch for their efficacy in soothing body and soul. In that case, how could we refuse? That's settled, then? Just make your way to the Bokairo Inn at your leisure. I must return to the Ruby Bazaar, but I've ensured you will find everything in order. My first thing in Hot Spring. I hope you'll join us, Desiree. Okay. She really is like a fairy tale mermaid come to life. You ever bathe us in for a surprise? Yeah, and the people they mentioned, the Kageyama, and that was the Kugane Castle dungeon. This inn is spectacular. I've never seen anything like it. And to think that we can just go in. I wish I could show it to Gale, though it might be safer not to. Anyway, Yeomin went inside to change the ages ago, but it doesn't seem like she's coming out anytime soon. She does wear an awful lot of armor. Why don't we have a look while we wait for her? There's no harm in that, right? Seeing it has only made me want to get in more. Yomi won't mind we need her in the world, right? Right. So let's go, unless you need some time to change into your bathing suit as well. I hear it's customary to wear one, at least in Kugane. No. Do I have a bathing suit? Let me go look for one. Yeah, let's take this. Not perfect, but good enough. Bit unprepared for a bathhouse session. This feels wonderful. I'm so glad we came to Hingashi. It's nice to probably relax once in a while. Look there. Is that the mermaid? The tail was scales, unmistakably a mermaid. I can't believe they've been real this whole time. And right here in our hot springs. This is ridiculous. I'm clearly no fish. I suppose people who've never seen an Ananta just don't know what else to make of you. Well, I never. Mermaids in the bath. Did someone say mermaid? Uh-oh. I know that half mask. What's this? A seeker? And one with most unfortunate features at that. Not as unfortunate as your manners, and I would say something about the creepy mask, but I reckon the face beneath is even worse. Now, am I meant to believe that you don't recognize me, Nazar Jab? You certainly have a look of an Eorzean, but perhaps my legacy has not yet reached whatever drab little corner of the realm you call home. Yes, on closer inspection I can see that our Far Eastern friends simply mistook serpent for fish. Not that it matters for my purposes, of course. I can hardly believe that I came upon a convincing substitute so soon. That's enough of your leering. Wait! What are you doing? Get your hands off me! Upper? I swear you must, maniac, if you've done something to Alpa! It's funny. I thought only to make a bit of coin on my travels through this foreign land, but it seems the beastman and I are simply meant to be. In any case, I'll be helping myself to this one. I welcome a challenge, so feel free to hunt me down, if you can. Hell's take that NASA. And what is he anyway? I can't believe he managed to snatch Alpa right from under us. No, now's not the time. Our first priority needs to be tracking him down. Thankfully, if the locals' reactions so far are anything to go by, I'm sure they stood out. We can start by asking around. Don't you want to dress first? Did you see Mikota pass through? It's important. Mikota, ma'am? I'm afraid I don't quite know what you mean. Oh, right. I'm talking about someone with ears like mine. Male, a bit odd in the facial area. Might have been behaving strangely too. Does it ring a bell? Ah, you folks are called Mikota. I've seen quite a few of you around Kugane of late. There's a man fitting that description over by the short pier when I passed by not too long ago. I guess we're headed seaside then. Thanks for your help. Mikota. What a charming name for a people. They do have the nicest ears. Up, down, down. Okay. This is not what I was expecting in a variety of ways. Hello, MZ. Now that you found him, I suppose we ought to make sure that he doesn't die. We're going to need him to wake up first, though. I don't know. Maybe poke him in the face? Throw a grenade at him. He likes it, I heard. Wait, we're in Kugane. Don't do that. We don't need the Sekisugumi to go after us. And you're sure he's not already dead? In that case, we'll have to get creative. And I have just the thing. Well, he does anyhow. Yeah, those grenades, right? Just as I thought, he never leaves home without his Mark 42 grenades. I assume he took the time to remove some of the powder after his prior experiences, so they should be safe enough. Lob one is in general direction, would you? I'll stand back a bit, just in case. Fire, no! Ah! I believe I at last truly grasp the meaning of the phrase a rude awakening, which is to say, ow. Make no mistake, I'm delighted to see you, Desiree, but I would appreciate it if you would put a little more thought into your method of greeting next time. I was having such a nice dream, too. I can't say I expected quite that large of an explosion. I thought for sure you'd remember to take that powder out this time. But why are you here anyway? Ah, Yeoman! Your attire is rather less present than usual. Ah, now that you mentioned it, I did forget to put my uniform back on, didn't I? More importantly, though, we have a serious problem on our hands. And that, are you listening? Yes, I'm listening and definitely making a normal amount of eye contact. But never mind that. Alpa's been kidnapped. I saw her being carried away by a man with a most peculiar mask. You saw him? Yes. Yes, as it happens, I stowed away on your ship to get here. And that went perfectly smooth, thank you very much, until you two disembarked and ran off, leaving me without a clue where to go. As I was wandering about aimlessly, as one does, I saw the masked man with Alpa in tow. I called out to them, and he hit me, without so much as a warning. Before I fully lost consciousness, however, I witnessed something vital. He and Alpa boarding a small boat. I'm positive they were headed out to sea. Then there's not a moment to waste. We'll board the ship at once. You too, MZ. Of course, I would never abandon Alpa in a time of need. In fact, I shall begin scanning the seas and search for any passing vessel that can carry us away right from this moment. Feel free to, put on a coat while I do. Yeah, he had romantic feelings for him. But acted like an idiot. So there never came anything out of that. Just compliment her like a normal person. It's my first time seeing her wear anything but armor. What do you want from me? Just wait till I get my hands on that Nazab jab. At least we have some idea where he's heading with Alpa thanks to MZ. I've decided to reward him by not pushing him into the sea, even though he's making it so very tempting. More importantly, where do you reckon we should start our search? They likely passed by the Ruby Prize. Well, what are we waiting for? Drummond, where are you going? Alright. Finding Alpa is my first priority. What? Can't you tell? Right, now that we're here, let's split up and ask whether anyone has seen a masked Mikoto and a mermaid about. An excellent plan. It's nice to have everything back to normal. This had better not be about my attire again. If you hadn't noticed, Alpa has been kidnapped by a masked maniac. So go find some eyewitnesses before I change my mind about drowning you. I never did get to tell her that her swimsuit was fetching, but at least I managed not to make a fool of myself. A man wearing a sinister mask. He certainly hasn't passed through here. I would know. I've been looking for suspicious persons to fire at all day. Shame. Let me know if you learn anything. Unlike some people, locating Alpa is my only concern right now. A suspicious man with a mermaid? Very funny, you Westerners and your jokes. Any luck? You too, huh? Seems to hit a dead end here. I haven't the slightest idea what to do now, though. Ah! What has he gotten himself into this time? Come on, Desiree. Kabuto? What's the meaning of this? First you bust out of the water like some sort of sea monster, now you threaten me with a blade? I don't even know who you are, or what you are. You know not what you stole from me, but you shall come to regret it. Tsukumo is more precious than any treasure. Return him at once. Help me, Desiree. I'm being beset by this, turtle man. Turtle man. Desiree, what an odd coincidence. Hello, Kabuto. Or not a coincidence at all, since you two seem to know each other. In which case, you have my apologies. I should not have drawn my blade without preamble. Think nothing of it. As a future leader of the Yem tribe, I was not at all alarmed by your sudden menacing advance. Not in the least. I'm MZT, by the way, and any friend of Desiree's is a friend of mine. I'm honored to meet you. My name is Kabuto, and I lead the Blues Divine Circle. My name is Yeoman. I'm with the Velodyna Gatekeepers in Ala Mhigo. Can I ask you why you were on the point of skewering MZ? In my haste, I unfortunately mistook him for a thief who recently snatched Tsukumo from my helmet. What precisely is this Tsukumo? You seem rather keen to get it back. Tsukumo was my dearest companion and guide who once walked beside me as a Karakuri puppet blessed with a soul. He is now present only as materia, but continues to watch over me. Wait, wasn't Nasa holding something that looked an awful lot like materia when we saw him at the hot springs? Could that have been Tsukumo? If so, it would mean that he robbed Kabuto before kidnapping Alpa, and that we almost certainly won't find him on the Ruby Sea. But why not? If it were me, I wouldn't want to risk my prize being retaken by its rightful owner, and fending Kabuto off would seem a sight more difficult with Alpa in tow. I put my money on Nasa having a mate for land as quickly as possible. A reasonable conclusion. Assuming he was headed for Orphat, the most direct route would have taken him through the village of Isari. To Isari we go then. We follow your lead, Kabuto. To Isari we go. I must retrieve Tsukumo at all costs. How to best explain the situation? Perhaps I should start with Alpa? So Alpa is an Ananta. Wait, so an Ananta is a sort of person like a mermaid, but not really? A What a charming little fishing village. Would we were here for some relaxing sightseeing. But we have a villain to catch and a captain to save. So let's get to it. Meet me back here once we've gathered as much information as you can. Seasoned fisherman. A suspicious man and a mermaid with him? No, there ain't any suspicious souls coming around our little village. And you pardon me for saying so, but it don't seem likely that a mermaid would keep such company. Yeah, but she was abducted, that's the problem. Huh? I haven't seen your mystery man, but I can tell you that mermaids have been a suspect of some discussion around here of late. You see, local legend has it that somewhere out there, far from the sight and grasp of the ordinary man, are what we Hingans call the Three Wonders. Mermaid's flesh being one, it's said to grant eternal life, be that for better or for worse. A few months past, a young lady born in one of Kugane's oldest and wealthiest families proclaimed that should any gentleman presume to ask for her hand in marriage, she would accept nothing less than all three wonders as a dowry. It's a fool's errand, certain enough. We Hingans love our fairy stories as well as any folk, but we know the three wonders are no more than fantasy. You have to admire her clever ploy to remain unwed, though, which is why it's the talk of the land. A masked man carrying a mermaid. Frankly, I'm not even sure I could imagine such a sight, and I certainly haven't witnessed it. I did see a man with a curious mask, though. He made landfall in a small boat and I assume departed on foot soon thereafter, as I haven't seen him since. I'd wager that he made for the StB or Yancha, like most who passed through here. So he probably went on. Now if you're all back, let's share what we've learned. Hopefully between the four of us, we'll have heard enough to go on. So though Naza was indeed sighted, no one can confirm which direction he departed in, and if your source is correct, Alpa is no longer with him. Did he stash her somewhere before landing in Isari? And where is he now? The Three Wonders may provide a clue. According to folklore, the treasures are Merflesh, the Jewel of Fair Souls, and the Philosopher's Fin. I shudder to think of a young lady being forced to marry Naza of all people, but based on his theft so far, it does seem like he is collecting the wonders, or treasures with passing similarity to them at least. Indeed, if Tsukumo is a substitute for the Jewel of Fair Souls, and your Alpa is meant to be the source of Merflesh, that leaves only one. Flesh certainly implies a level of dismemberment, but I'm not comfortable with. We have to stop him. Yes, I realize that. If you have any brilliant ideas as to how, now's the time. We can't allow him to stay one step ahead of us. I will chase Tsukumo's captain to the ends of Heidelin if I must. Wait for us, Alpa. Fish in a barrel. We can say with some certainty that Naza has made for either Yancha or the StB. They can only be up to no good. But it's also likely that Alpa has been imprisoned somewhere between here and Kugane, so which should we seek? I would be happy to ask the other members of the Divine Circle to search for your friend. There are no finer seekers of treasure on the Ruby Sea, and would free us to continue tailing the thief. While I would prefer to see to Alpa's safety myself, I can't deny that I'm at a distinct disadvantage in these lands. It probably would be better to leave a search to those more familiar with the area, while we pursue Nasa. He's after, what was it now? Philosopher's Fin, correct? If our assumptions are right, there's only one left, and we know he's not too particular as to whether he lays hands on the real thing. Desiree, do you have any idea what could pass for the Philosopher's Fin at a glance? A Fin from Segetsu the Enlightened. He sure talks a lot. A Namazu speaks and articulately at that. Yes, he does sound like a prime candidate. However, one could easily call all of the Namazu who have mastered the common tongue Fin philosophers. We cannot count on our villain to be so selective, nor do we know if he makes for Dori Law or other Izuka Manor. Well, if potential Fin philosophers can be found in either location, I suppose we have to split up and cover both. I'll take Izuku Manor, and that can come with me, if only so that I can keep him from accidentally injuring anyone, himself included. Anyway, I'm sure the locals will be able to point us in the right direction. Then we will hasten to Dororo. I only hope that we will arrive in time. But I make a cut here. Next time we continue this. Until then, I am Ace, and don't get lost.